everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I'm your host, Renee Murdoch, and I am so happy that you are here, that you're liking, that you're sharing, that you are being a part of this journey with me, and that you are becoming, right? Becoming who, what, when, where, why. I think this is a song. But anyway, that you're becoming your authentic self. Because you are good peoples, right? If you're good peoples, I would not be doing this with you. Okay, and as always, right, the most important thing is that we are doing this together because we were never meant to do life alone. We weren't. And so I'm just glad about it. I might be a little shiny today because I was outside and it's a really beautiful day. It's a little switch up from normally what's been going over here in this area. And so, again, my skin is doing something a little different, but it's all good. It's all good. So last episode, right, we were talking about seeing beyond what we see, having vision for your life beyond the titles, beyond the performance, beyond the education. And how do we do this, right? And knowing who we are at the core of knowing who we are. And I want to go a little bit deeper. I was told that I'll be doing deep. I'll be going deep. I don't think I'll be going that deep. Maybe probably not here, like just, conversation or whatnot. But let's go deeper, right? And let's talk about this authenticity and what it means, what it is, and how to explore it and how to really walk in this thing. I put this post out there and, it made people feel a certain type of way, but it's all good. Good way, bad way, don't agree. And like I always say, that is the way I see things at this moment. And so I'm standing on that thing right there. So it's one thing, right, to see vision. And it's another thing to have the courage to be who you truly are, to walk that thing out. So really walk that thing out and not be so concerned about what other people think and what they believe and what they want you to be. It really does take courage to actually do that. And so I want us to be able to really define and really look at what does it mean to be authentic? What does authenticity really mean? Because I feel like, it's this trend, but it's really not a trend. It should not be a trend. It should not be this buzzword. I'm being authentic, I'm being my authentic self, right? And just wanting to be different and get attention. No, but authenticity is really alignment. It's alignment when you are who you are internally shows up externally. That's really authenticity. Who you are internally shows up externally, right? There's no mask. There's no performance. There's not, coming into and editing ourselves into different environments depending on who's around. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, because this is who I am. This is the ability to say, hey, I'm not negotiating to be accepted. No way, shape, or form am I negotiating to be accepted. Now, this does not mean that I can be rude, that I can be dismissive, even reckless with my words and with my behavior. That's not what it means to be, I'm just going to be who I am. And I'm not making any moves about anything. I'm standing on myself. No, that's just being immature in how you handle things. But authenticity is really being grounded and having self-awareness and the responsibility of what you carry, the responsibility of how you are showing up to others and being a light for others. It says, I can fully be me and I can still respect you. I can fully be me and I can still respect you. And that's the latter part. That's the latter part. And that's why the beginning part is where we don't really get to. Because we're so concerned that it's really disrespect. I feel like if you're not showing up, I'm getting in trouble. If you are not showing up in your authentic self, I think it's disrespect. You're being disrespectful. You're lying. You're out here lying in the streets and being disrespectful to people when you do not show up in your authentic self. We are becoming. We are transforming. And so we go through different stages. So whatever it is now, that's what it is. That's what it is. I can still respect you and your beliefs, in your values, right? And in your moral. I may not agree with you, but I can respect you. And that's where we need to get to. So let's talk about something that we don't want to admit. We just don't want to admit this, right? We don't want to admit that we were there, we are there. But life really is not, okay, let me say it this way. A lot of people are tired, not because life is hard. Life is hard. Life is challenging. But it's because they're performing. You're performing. And it takes energy to perform in a version that is not actually you. That isn't real. Like, you got to learn your lines, right? You got to make sure you got all the right outfits. Like, you're sitting there thinking like, okay, I have to be who my family wants me to be. I have to change up because of the environment that I am, or the environment that I was raised in, the job, how I got the job and how demanding it is, and then the relationships that it's going to require. And over time, it gets heavy. It gets weighty. It gets weighty. Literally, I was in a situation where I was like, yo, I am not, like, hold up a second. My boundaries are being crossed here. I am not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm not. I am not working today. I am off today. I'm not doing it today. Right? And so you're crossing over into my boundaries. I don't want to put an expectation there that's not there. I'm going to show up as myself. I remember someone said, like, if I wear loud colors, I'm going to wear that loud color in interviews, because I don't want you to be confused of when, just because I wore black and white and then I show up and I'm in neon pink. And you know, they're like, why is she here wearing neon pink? No, I'm going to let you know that this is what I wear every day. I don't wear neon pink. I'm just using it as an example. But if you do, it's okay. It's okay. So the weight really is there because we place the burden there ourselves. And maintaining a false reality, an image that is not you, it is exhausting. It's exhausting. You got to think before you speak in every space that you go into. You got to know who's there, right? What's the environment, who's going to show up. And you have to adjust your personality depending on those things. Carrying expectations that was never yours to begin with. I just talked about, this boundary. I am not carrying that expectation. That's your expectation. And you're not going to put that expectation on me. That's not me. That's not me. We're not going to do this with this. That's not me. And that's a burden. And I'm not going to carry someone else's burden. And that's what you have to be willing to say. I'm not going to carry that burden. I'm not going to be exhausted because of a burden of expectation that you placed on me that is not mine. The burden of what? Not the burden of your responsibility of that particular job, but the burden of being someone else. The burden of being... Have you seen the movie? I'm trying to think. I think maybe it was Nutty... No, not was Nutty Professor. It was Miss Doubtfire. I remember this movie growing up, Doubtfire. And it was the man, and I think he was... him and his wife had got a divorce, and she didn't think he was trustworthy to watch the kids. And so he became... The mother needed a nanny because he wouldn't let her watch them. I mean, she wouldn't let him watch them. And so then she wanted the nanny. So he became the nanny. And he was like dressing up to be this nanny, right? And being this great and wonderful, loving older woman who was from, I don't know, another country or something like that. And so He's trying to be in all these places at the same time, trying to still move in his career and be a father, and then also be this other person that he was not. And so here it is. It became exhausting. It became a burden that he didn't know what to do. And ended up getting fined out too at the same time. But how do you release this burden? Because you can't just keep carrying it, but you got to release it. And this is how you settle it right within your spirit. Your authenticity is not a burden, nor should it be a burden for you to carry. Let them carry that. Now, it might feel like one because you've been conditioned, right? We've been conditioned in this worldly system. If I am fully me, I might not be accepted. If I'm fully me, I might lose them. I might not fit in. They might not hire me. I might not get the job. But I want you to hear this, and I want you to hear this very, very clearly. If your authenticity becomes a burden for others, let them carry it. It is not for you to manage it. You are not responsible if you're showing up fully as yourself and other people are not comfortable with it. If their opinions is about your growth and how you're doing it to get there. Their resistance to your change. That's not yours to carry. You're responsible, again, for you and your own personal growth and transformation. Let them do what they do, how they need to process it, right? How they want to talk about it, because guess what? Whether you are being who they want you to be and whether you are walking into and becoming your authentic self, they're going to talk about you anyway. Even if you do what they tell you to do. Even if you show up how they want you to show up. Even if you wear what they want you to wear. They're going to talk about you anyway. Let them feel however they want to feel. And you keep walking. Keep walking in your authenticity. As you are becoming, as you're discovering, walk in it. You know, I was told that that I can function in my words, just seem to just like kind of cut up in there. I'm walking in my authentic self. I at the same time I'm being aware, right, of my surroundings. Being mindful of my tone, being mindful of my choice of words, right? That it does not damage, but it brings about truth. It brings about truth. Someone's like, oh man, like I see your content out there, like, oh man, you're just putting it out there. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm being my authentic self. I'm standing on what I believe is my truth. It's my truth. I'm standing on my truth. And as I'm standing on my truth, you are seeing a side of me, right? Maybe you saw a little glimpse here and there, and it's like, oh no, I'm sorry, let me back up. And then I'm like, no, I'm not backing up no more. I'm not backing up. This is my stance. This is where I stand at. And this is how I feel. And this is me. So to know me is to love me. Right? To love me is to know me. To know me is to love me. Right? And it's the same thing. Like, I really, it's one thing that I like to say is that I truly enjoy People being honest. It's like I get a kick out of it. I don't. It's like my thing. Like, oh my gosh, they were so honest, even when it was rude. Insane, right? Even when it was rude, I'll be like, yo, that was rude. But man, they were honest. I respect their honesty. Thank you for that. Well, it's kind of rude though. But thank you for your. Now I know how you feel. I don't have to guess about how you feel about a thing. I know how you feel. And so I can move according to how your position is. But I respect that you were honest enough to tell the truth. People will always have something to say. Let's think about it this way. Even when you are in purpose, when you are doing exactly what you have been called to do, someone will have something to say about it. It will be too much. It's too grandiose. You're too loud. You're too, you're too theatrical. You're too loud. You're not quiet enough. You're too bold. You're too different. You're so traditional. Look what you have on. You cannot approve every single one of these people on this earth. You can't approve every single one of them. You can't win in the game of approval. No one's winning. No one is winning in the game of approval. Oh my gosh, no one's winning. Who's winning? Raise your hand if you're winning. So if you're not winning, then why are you playing the game? Why are you playing the game? So you just love just losing, right? I mean, I don't know. Why play the game if you know that you have no chance of winning at all? It's like that one game where the kids are running through the maze or whatever, and they finally figure out, like, we don't even have a chance to win this thing. This whole thing is a mockery. They're laughing at us. They're laughing at us. They're just enjoying watching us kill one another because we're thinking that we're going to win something and you're not. So the question is, why are you exhausting yourself trying to do it? Why are you playing a game that you will never win? At some point, you got to decide and say within yourself, I'm no longer going to do this. I'm no longer going to play their game. I'm no longer going to shrink into being something that I'm not. I'm not going to be stretched into something that I'm not. I'm not going to conform to something that I'm not. I'm not going to try to fit into their opinions every day. And then it becomes exhausting for me to show up as that. Because there is a cost actually to doing that. There's a cost to conforming. And again, it's exhausting. And I want to, because there's a lot to that when we're talking about the cost that it takes to actually conforming. We don't really think about the weight and what we have to sacrifice of that conforming to this particular thing, this person, this environment, this culture, and what it can do to us as individuals. It's insane. So here are some consequences when it comes to the cost of conforming. When you conform to what the world says and to the circle that you're in and that it wants you to be, something happens to you internally. Everything is happening internally, right? The frustration is there. The disconnection is there. Being unseen. Even when people are around you, you're still feeling that you're unseen. And why is this? Because they're not really experiencing you. They're experiencing performance. They're experiencing the play. They're experiencing the character. Oh my gosh. They're experiencing the false reality. The reality TV that's really false reality TV. That's what they're experiencing. And that frustration doesn't just sit around very quietly. No, it's loud. It leaks through. It's coming through. It's almost like, you know, when you eat if you ever eat kimchi or you ever ate onions or something or garlic or whatever, and it just starts to seep through your pores when you've been working out and you're sweating away, it just starts to seep through. That's what's happening. That frustration begins to do that very thing. And when you're frustrating, when you're being frustrated, what happens? It's not just you experiencing that. Everyone around you begins to experience the frustration. They're experiencing the performance. Because carrying that weight, again, carrying that burden of the constant performance that you got to show up as. And I'm not talking about just out here in the streets. I'm even talking about in your home, in your relationship. The constant performance. You know, eventually, you know how like when you first start dating someone, and right, they just, you know, it's just all good and great and whatever, and it's just the surface level of everything. And then it's like the true you begins to show up or begins to leak out eventually. But there's some of us where that really hasn't happened. Like you're just still on performance mode. And then you get married, right? Or you're 5 years into this thing. And then they're like, what? Who is this person? I don't even know who you are. I have no clue who this person is. This is not the person that I met. This is not the person that I've been dating. This is not the person that I married. Well, hopefully it's not the person that you married, right? We're supposed to be evolving, but in a good way, right? Not in a bad way. But eventually, right, that weight, right, it just spills over into everything else. It spills over into everything else. That's what I was just talking about. Your work, your relationships, right? Your peace of mind, even your health. And that goes back into an episode previously. We were talking about being healthy and how it just shows up physically, because it's internally first and then it comes out externally. That's why being authentic should not be an option, but it should be necessary. And how we live and how we move in our life. See, having that vision and walking that thing out, walking it out when no one else understands it, walking it out when no one else gets it, being authentic in that, showing up as yourself in every single room, not overdoing it, not over explaining who you are, not apologizing for your growth. Not shrinking back because other people are their discomfort because they're not comfortable in you being you. I want to challenge all of us right here. I want to challenge all of us right here. You do not owe everyone an explanation of who you are becoming. Stop trying to make people understand you. They're not. Who are committed to who you are is who you are. The level of commitment of people understanding that is not for you to explain. It's not. So at some point your life has to become what? Authentic. The way I walk is my explanation. Come on now. Okay. The way that I'm walking is my explanation. I don't have to sit down and have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, 10 hours with you, where every time we get together, I have to explain to you why I'm saying what I'm saying and why I'm moving the way I'm moving. My walk is the explanation. Watch me as I move. Right? I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that. Maybe, I don't know, a hat maybe. Watch me as I move. Watch me as I move. And guess what? I don't mind you watching me. I don't mind it. I'm about to say something. I'm laughing because I'm about to say something up in here. Watch me as I move. Because that's my explanation. You better get a shanda inside of you to say, I'm okay with you watching me. Because that's my explanation. That's my explanation. So I want to address this other thing that we tend to do when people are moving in their authenticity, right? And they're saying what they're saying or whatever, and they're like, oh, they arrogant. No, they're not arrogant. They're confident. That's being confident. I know who I am becoming, and I'm going to walk in my authenticity. It's not arrogance. It's not saying that I'm better than you. It's me saying I am fully me. And I'm okay with that. I ain't got a double D. I got an A. I got an A cup. I'm fully me. I'm okay with that. I'm quirky and I laugh at myself. I'm okay with that. I'm direct. I'm okay with that. I'm very frank with you. I'm very firm with you. I'm okay with that. I no longer need to pretend. That's the difference between confidence versus arrogance. When you decide, I'm not putting on a facade anymore, that's not pride. That's freedom. That's liberty. That's like, whoo, taking the burden off and throwing it aside. That's it. I'm done. I'm shake the dust off. Shake the dust off. And here's the mind shift. If you walk into a space and you are fully yourself and they don't accept you, great. Great. And if they do, great. Great. Because either way, you didn't lose yourself. Oh, come on! I'm gonna just give her a round of applause. If they accept you, great. If they don't accept you, great. Because what happened there? You didn't lose yourself either way. And that's the real win. Too many people gain rooms, right? And lose themselves in the process. Well, I got all these people, I got all these people, I got all these followers, I got all these likes, I got all this and that or whatever. I'm in all these organizations, I'm part of all of this. That's not success. That's compromising who you are. If me becoming who I am and being authentic in the space and it no longer lines up and what you want, hey, I'm out, peace, deuce, kick rocks. That's it. We no longer doing this. I'm no longer losing myself to be accepted in spaces that don't accept my true identity. I'm no longer compromising. I'm no longer compromising. And so on today, let's just close it out with this. Walk in your authenticity. It's not a cuss word. It's not a bad thing. Do not carry the burdens of what other people think about you and what they want you to be. Stop pretending. Stop putting on a facade. If you cannot show up as yourself in every single space, you are not being authentic. It's just plain and simple as that. You are not being authentic. You are being what they want you to be in that space, in that environment. Show up as you and don't look back trying to explain yourself. You don't need to. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission, and you definitely don't need their validation. You need alignment. And when you start walking in your authentic self, you will see where you need to be aligned at. It will just become as clear as day because you've been wearing a mask for so long. You've been blinded for so long. When you are truly aligned, your purpose begins to flow. There's a sense of peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding, right? You just become more stabilized. Your relationships become more real. They're no longer fake. It's no longer performance. It's no longer mask. There's no longer carrying something that isn't yours. You're just fully free. You're fully confident. And you're unapologetic. I'm not apologizing for being who I am. I'm not. So that's it. Got a little hype, That's it. We're a little over our times, but hey, if you want to chat it up, I am here for you. I truly am. I love walking this life out with individuals, right, that are not like me, and we just doing life together. We learning from one another, we growing together, and I am here for it. Let's chat it up. You can reach me at www.4mosaic.com. Don't wait. Go ahead and participate. No, but truly just reach out. We can do this thing together. We can walk this thing out together, and I am here for you. So until next time, I love you. Don't perform. Just be you. Just be you. And I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it.